Alhamdulillah. Okay, Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah, Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa ahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Walaikum
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, so Alhamdulillah, ayah number 21 today, inshallah, we will be completing. Inshallah, I'm hoping most of it, inshallah, is things that we've covered before. There's probably just a little bit further down towards the end that will require a little bit of discussion, just to make sure that we are not rushing and we are paying the due attention to each letter, inshallah, and to each of the rules. We'll start. So, Sister Hamera, if you can start with you with the isti'adha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
We'll try that one more time. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Well done. Alhamdulillah. And Auntie Nasreen, if we can get you to say the Basmala. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Try that again, Auntie. I know you're working on that. You managed to, alhamdulillah, try to correct yourself. Let's try that again. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
That was better.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the ending was rushed. So we'll do that one more time. Take a deep breath before you start, Auntie. It just means that you can get through it, inshallah, in a bit more relaxed fashion without rushing. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rahim.
Your ra in the previous one was better. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim.
Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim.
So remember we said about the slow movement. Ra, finish the ra. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim.
Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim.
Rahim. Yeah, that was better, alhamdulillah. Okay, if we start with I think Sister Radia. I cannot see Sister Radia. Okay, Papa Juksana, if we start with you, I'm going to recite all up until the Jim, inshallah. من هذا الذي يرزقكم إن أمسك رزقه.
أمن هذا الذي يرزقكم إن أمسك رزقه.
Not a bad effort at all, mashallah, well done. I know you're working on your kaf as well, alhamdulillah. Okay, let's do the breakdown. So we have here, and I hope everybody at home also was reciting along with me. Inshallah, those are your opportunities. Okay, so we have amman, the word amman. Here we have a mim mushaddad. So we hold this for the longest gunna. Okay, so we say amman, amman. The mim is held. We have the noon followed by the ha. This is an example of your idhar halqi. Okay, so in this one we are pronouncing the noon clearly and distinctly. We complete the tawassut. So again, not too long, not too short, like the lam. Okay, amman hadha alladhi. Then we have the word hadha, and again we saw this yesterday. So each of these are held for 2 counts. Okay, just be careful that you're nice and relaxed for it. There should be no tensing in the throat. There's no squeezing. It's just very relaxed from the bottom. Hadha. Okay, so for all of this, really, for the first part, you're very, very, very much relaxed because you're not using any of the letters that require a bit more effort. And then we moved from the dal, just like we saw yesterday, from the dal to the lam. Okay, this lam, for those of you that know, is lamut ta'arif. It is an exception, and it is an exception to shamsiyah. And the hamzatul wasl here is not read. if in continuation. Okay, so if we're carrying on from the word before, then I can see you, don't worry. So you can, so the Hamza to Wasl is not read in continuation, but if we start with this word, then we will use it. Okay, so we don't need it in this case. We're going to carry on reading. So we say هذا الذي, the alif after the dal, just like I mentioned yesterday, is an example of iltiqa as-sakinain. We drop this alif so that we move from the dal straight to the lam. Okay, so we don't prolong the dal. Okay, and then after the next dal in alladhi here, you have the madya after it, which means that you're going to prolong it for 2 counts. Okay, let's try this together first. So Pabshuksan, I hope you're ready. And we'll just try
Yes.
the first few up until here. من هذا الذي.
من هذا الذي.
Okay, it sounded like when you said the meme mushaddad, you held it, mashallah, it was all very good. But the meme mushaddad, it sounded like your lips went in, like you said. Remember, keep the lips just gently. You can put a bit of pressure, that's okay. But they shouldn't. Your lips don't need to go into the mouth. من هذا الذي.
من هذا الذي.
Good, alhamdulillah. And then we have the next word, yarzuqukum. Now here, we can see that we've got the ra. We've discussed the ra rules before. It has a sukoon here, so it means that there's nothing here directly above or below the ra itself. There's no haraka, which is telling us whether it's heavy or light. So we have to look at the letter before. In this case, the letter before has a fatha, so we know that now the ra is going to be read heavy. Okay. Now, just like I said in previous lessons, the ra is similar to the lam. It is a tawassut letter, so we can't rush it. We can't just say yarzuqukum, for example, and we can't hold it for too long either. We can't say yarzuqukum. Okay, it's somewhere in the middle. Okay, so not too short, not too long. Okay, so we hold it for a bit. Yarzu, yarzu. Okay, enough for you to establish the ra and for it to be read nice and clearly, and you can tell that it's heavy. Okay, then we have the 3 letters that are coming next. All have dhammas. We have a dhamma here, a dhamma here, a dhamma here. For all of this, your lips should be rounded, and they should be rounded from the very first letter to the very last letter. Sometimes we're not in the full dhamma position for the first one, and we end up pronouncing the dhamma wrong. We end up saying yarzuqu, for example, zoqu, because we haven't fully gone for the dhamma. We're just sort of getting ready, and therefore we sort of don't give the due attention to the za. But by the time we get to the qaf, then we're all right. But we don't want to be doing that. We want to make sure that we're ready for the dhamma sound at the beginning. So we say yarzuqukum, yarzuqukum. Try that, Popoji.
يرزقكم.
And try to, the ra can be made a little bit heavier. Yar. Now remember, for the ra here, you feel the tip of the tongue go up. The back of the tongue moves not too much, but it does move slightly. It's slightly raised and it's slightly pushing a little bit back. Yar, yarzuqukum.
يرزقكم.
That was much better. Jazakumullah khairan. Very nice, mashallah. Then we have the next word. The next 2 words, in amsak. You have the noon sakin again with the letter hamza. This is the same rule as we saw at the beginning. It is your izhar halqi. The noon is pronounced clearly. For those of you that are hearing this rule for the first time, izhar I've already mentioned before how it means that you're pronouncing the letter clearly and distinctly, and there's no merging or hiding or blending of any kind with the next letter. Okay, they are both independent of each other. The word halqi means throat, in relation to the throat. So what you'll notice here is in the first example that I gave you over here right at the beginning, amman hadha, we had the letter ha, which is from the throat. It's from the bottom of the throat. So it's a throat letter, which is why it had the word halqi in the rule. In this one that we're looking at now, where we have in amsaka, it's the same thing. After the noon, this time we have the hamza, and the hamza is also a throat letter. It actually shares the same makhraj as the ha. Okay, so these are both throat letters, which is why they are both izhar halqi. It doesn't matter which throat letter comes after the noon sakina. any throat letter, then the noon is pronounced very clearly. Okay. Then we move on and we see the word amsaka. We have the meme followed by the seen. So this is your meme sakin rule. This is again, it's idhar, which means we're going to pronounce this meme clearly. This is idhar shafawi. Okay, shafawi means that it's something to do with the lips. Okay, so that helps us to distinguish that this is an idhar of the lip letter meme as opposed to a tongue letter like noon, because noon we know has an idhar rule as well. So just to distinguish these two rules, one is called idhar halqi, so that would be noon sakin. Then we have idhar shafawi, and the shafawi is saying this is in relation to the meme, which is made from the lips. So it's a meme sakin rule. Okay. So again, we're reciting this meme clearly and distinctly. We're not blending with the scene at all. But the meme is a tawassut letter. It's one of those, again, not too long, not too short. So when you read these two words, you'll find that you're essentially reciting two letters, both having tawassut. You've got the noon sakin, you've got the meme sakin. Both of them are held for the same amount of time. Okay, so we say in amsak, in amsak. Okay, so we don't want to rush. We don't want to, for example, say in amsak, or we say in amsak. This would be incorrect. You've got to have that balance. They've got to be the same. In amsak. Okay. And then you have the sin and the kaf both with a fatha. So you give them the due attention. Don't start rushing. Okay. In amsaka, saka. Give them both one count each. So let's try up. Actually, let's just finish the next word. So the next word is rizqah. The ra here has a kasra, and we know from our rules that if the ra has a kasra at the bottom, then it is red light. So the ra here is like, we're not saying riz, for example, rizqah. We're saying rizqah. Okay, the tongue at the back is very relaxed, and it's only the very tip of the tongue that moves. Okay, you have the za. The za is a letter of rakhawa. Okay, so that means we've got to stay on it. Okay, you've got to keep it running. Remember, it's longer. We're keeping the sound running longer than we did the noon and the meme. So we say in amsaka rizqah. We stay on the za for longer. And remember, you need that buzzing sound. The buzzing sound comes if you keep the sound running. If you rely too much on your breath, it'll change into a scene and become rizqah. Okay, keep the sound going for this one. Rizqah. The qaf is nice and heavy. We know it's an isti'ala letter. It's in part of khussa daghtin qidh. And then you have the ha. If we're stopping, we put a sukoon on this ha. And ha again is a rakhawa letter. Okay, it's another one that you keep running if you stop on it. If we say rizqah, rizqah, and again, both should be the za and the ha should both be for the same kept running for the same amount of time. Rizqah. Okay. If we were to continue reading here, then we of course would read the dhamma on the ha and we'd read the mad waw after it for 2 counts. So it would be in amsaka rizqahu ballajju. Okay, that's how you'd read it in continuation. Today, though, we are going to stop here and then continue with the next part. You can actually do that here. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so let's try this again, Pupuji. Let's start from the beginning. أَمَّنْ هَذَا الَّذِي يَرْزُقُكُمْ إِنْ أَمْسَكَ رِزْقَهُ
أَمَّنْ هَذَا الَّذِي يَرْزُقُكُمْ إِنْ أَمْسَكَ رِزْقَهُ.
MashaAllah, very nice. This scarf was brilliant, alhamdulillah. This scarf was it needs a little bit of work, so we want to make it the same as that one. So there's only 2 things really that I wanted to make you aware of, Papaji, so that we can try and fix it. One is this scarf, and one is the ya. Okay, the ya in yarzuqukum. If you get ready for the ra too early, you'll end up making the ya heavy, and you end up saying yar, right? You don't want to say ya, you want to say ya, yarzuqukum.
يَرْزُقُكُمْ.
So remember to start with that rested position of your lips. So it's a slight smile, yeah. And make sure you open the mouth a little bit when you're pronouncing the ya before you go to the ra. Ya, zuq. See, if you see how my mouth with ya, Ya, yarzuqukum.
يرزقكم.
That's better. That's better. The ya is better. Now what I want you to do is for the ra, I want you to think about the heaviness of it. Keep the sound going. It seems as though your sound is you reduce the sound of your voice when you say get to the ra. Yarzuqukum.
يرزقكم.
That's better. Jazakumullah khairan. Let's try that one more time, Papaji. Mashallah, you did really well with this one. Let's try again. أَمَّنْ هَذَا الَّذِي يَرْزُقُكُمْ إِنْ أَمْسَكَ رِزْقَهُ.
أَمَّنْ هَذَا الَّذِي يَرْزُقُكُمْ إِنْ أَمْسَكَ رِزْقَهُ.
So what I want you to do, Papaji, that was very good. Allah bless you. That was very nice. Alhamdulillah. Next time when you're practicing to get this kaf, sometimes when the letter kaf has a different haraka, it can become a little bit tricky to pronounce it the same. So in that case, what you can do is first, because your kaf with the fatha, this one here is good. First practice by saying them both together. Ka ku.
Okay. Ka ku.
Again, ka ku.
Ka ku.
Yes, so you'll notice probably, you know how you're relaxed for the ka and it comes very easily. I want you to try to stay relaxed even when you say ku, ka, and to keep the flow in the same way. Keep your voice going in the same direction. Ka ku.
Ka ku.
That's much better. Ka ku.
Ka ku.
Now say kum.
Kum.
Yarzuqukum.
Yarzuqukum.
We lost it a little bit. Let's try again. Yarzuqukum.
Yarzuqukum.
That was much better. Jazakumullahu khairan. Allah bless you. Well done, Papaji. Alhamdulillah. Okay, let's go on to the next bit. So if we look at the next part now, let's just get rid of this. So we're looking at this part here. So if, okay, Auntie Nasreen, if you can do the next part with me, please. So we have here, بَلَّجُّوا فِي عُتُوٍّ وَنُفُورٍ.
بَلَّجُّوا فِي عُتُوٍّ وَنُفُورٍ.
Okay, let's try that again. بَلَّجُّوا فِي عُتُوٍّ وَنُفُورٍ.
بَلَّجُّوا فِي عُتُوٍّ وَنُفُورٍ.
Okay, so let's break this down now, alhamdulillah, inshallah. So we've got here بَلَّجُّوا, okay? We are going from, what you're really reciting is you're going from the ba to this lam, and the lam which is joint, again, remember the tawassut, keep it going, not too long, not too short, before you go on to the fatha. Bella, bella, okay? You don't want to make the fatha long, so you don't want to say bella, okay? Bella, bellajju, okay? And then the jim is held, we have the mad wow after it, which prolongs it for 2 counts. So we say bellajju, bellajju. Okay. You'll notice now in this word you can actually tell the difference between the tawassut and the shidda. So remember we had the 3 qualities of, we had shidda, we had tawassut, okay, and we had rahawa. Okay. And tawassut was your lin umar, okay. And shidda we said was ajidu qatin bakat, is the one where the sound cuts off. So you can actually see that here because you've got the lam joint to the ba, you've got the jim also joint to the lam. So the first jim is a joining jim. We say ledju, okay? When we say bella, you can hear the sound keeps flowing. Bella, bella. At no point does the sound of my voice cut off. Bella, okay, it keeps going. But when I say ledju, ledju, see we say led, there's a stop in the sound. Ledju, ledju. That's the shidda quality. That's the sound being very short and cutting off. Okay, belledju. Okay, and that's what you want to have. That's correct. Okay, so we have bel. Let's try this together. Auntie Nasreen. Belledju.
بَلَّجُّوا
Belledju.
بَلَّجُّوا.
Jazakumullahu khairan. Just let's try that. I just want to hear the first lam again, Auntie. Belledju.
بلجوا.
Jazakumullahu khairan, that was much better. We have the word fi, and remember we've discussed the makhraj of fa before with the inside of the bottom lip when we said it touches very lightly the top teeth, okay, and it has to be a light touch so that the air or the breath can pass at the same time. And that means that it will result in a very light, airy sounding fa, fi. If you press too hard, it'll sound like fi, which is not right. Okay, fi. You want to hear the air running at the same time. Fi. Okay, so now to the interesting part. So we have the alhamdulillah, all of it is interesting, but the part that we're gonna have to discuss in a little bit more detail. Here we first have the two dhammas. Okay, you have the ain, utu. Okay, nice and light. Utu. You don't want to say utu, for example. If you struggle too much and squeeze too hard for the ain, you end up changing the ta and making that heavy and turning that into a ta, and you'll say utu. Okay, utu. You want to keep it nice and light. Okay, then we have here a tanween on the waw, followed by a letter, another letter waw. This is your example of idgham naqis. Write that down here. Idgham naqis, and it's bi ghunna. Okay, so we have the ghunna, and the idgham ghunna is long. So we're going to, we have to hold this. So the joining we're going to hold. And we're going to apply the ghunna. So we should be doing the ghunna, the sound should be going through your nose, and you should be pronouncing the waw at the same time. When we say wa, so it shouldn't be win, for example, win. You should hear yourself saying the waw, the pressure on the lips for the waw whilst you do that. Okay. So that's one thing that we already are kind of familiar with the idgham naqis, but we do have this extra kind of step where we have this waw joining to the ta before it. Okay, where the way that we join utu, this part here, because this is, for those of you that know, this waw is it should have nabar, so it should have that emphasis. So how do we say this? How do we move? We say utu. When we move from the tu to the waw, it's got to be a quick joining. Okay, that's your emphasizing, slight raising of the voice. Utu, utu. And then because the waw is a rakhawa letter, you then keep it running. So you join quick, but you don't stop. You don't say utu. You say utu. You keep the waw going. Utu. Okay, that's your nabar. Okay, once you've done that, then you can move on to the idgham and say wa. So you hold the idgham naqis here. You hold it, you keep it running. The sound should be going through the nose. Your idgham should be held the same amount of time as your mim and noon mushaddad. So the way that we held amman, utuwin wa nufur. Okay, so a little bit to think about there. Your joining has to be quick, then keep the waw running for a bit, then carry on with the idgham. Okay, then you have the wa nufur. Your waw should be nice and light. The fatha, you want to make sure you say wa, complete the movement of the waw to make sure it's nice and light. And then we have the two dhammas, and the ra here is, so make sure you say u for both the dhammas. If you're stopping on the ra, you're putting a sukoon, and it's got a dhamma before it, so the ra here will be heavy if you're stopping. Wa nufur. Okay, let's try that, Auntie. بل لجوا في عتو ونفور.
بلجوا في عتو ونفور.
That was a good effort. When you move from the tu to the waw, Auntie, I want you to feel you using your lips. So you don't want to say utu, utu. It should be utu. So let me so when I say this, I'm not just saying utu, I'm saying utu, utu. I can feel, because you actually want to be using the lips to actually pronounce the waw. Yeah. Okay, if you just say utu, it's like a mud, and you don't want it like a mud. Okay, let me just share the screen again. So use your lips, put the pressure when you join the waw. بل لجوا في عتو ونفور.
بل لجوا في عتو ونفور.
That was better. That was better, alhamdulillah. We'll try the last two words again. عُتُوٍّ وَنُفُورٍ.
عتو ونفور.
MashaAllah. Good effort, Auntie. Well done. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so before I move on, let me just tidy this up a little bit. Okay, so let's get other sisters, inshallah, to practice a little bit of this, inshallah. I've just had seen the request for the yarzuqukum. How do we get this meme to be light? Okay, it all depends on how you're moving the lips. Okay, so how are we moving the lips? For the dhammas, it's the circling, but for the meme, there's no circling. Yarzuqukum. Ku, finish the ku. Hear yourself say the dhamma, make the u sound. So don't rush to the meme. Finish the ku clearly, then ku, kum, not kum, then the meme sounds heavy. Yarzuqukum, yarzuqukum. Okay, that's how you want to be pronouncing that. So I hope that cleared that up for you. Okay, Sister Hamera, if we can practice the first part. أَمَّنْ هَذَا الَّذِي يَرْزُقُكُمْ إِنْ أَمْسَكَ رِزْقَهُ.
أَمَّنْ هَذَا الَّذِي يَرْزُقُكُمْ إِنْ أَمْسَكَ رِزْقَهُ.
Yeah, for the I think maybe because you were running out of breath. One was the ha at the end. It was a little bit mixed with the other ha. So you
I
want to go.
struggled with that. Ha.
Let's try it again. Rizqah.
Rizqah.
Okay, so one thing you can fix very easily is how your mouth is moving. So when you move from the heavy qaf to the light ha, your lips have to move with it. So you're saying it like this. Rizqah. So that's your heavy qa. Rizqah. Qah. If you stay in that position, say rizqah. Rizqah. The ha is heavy. Rizqah. Qah. The ha becomes light at the end if you just smile a little bit at the end. So that's the first thing. You'll also just need to make sure you're working on the makhraj. So let's get your makhraj right first. So aha.
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 Yes, exactly. So this is how I want you to say it. When you want to get used to saying the ha, start saying it a little bit quicker so that you're more relaxed. Because at the moment you're putting so much, you're putting more effort into it than you need to. So to relax for it, if you say it a bit faster, because the aha, try that.
Aha. Aha. Aha.
Now say aha.
Aha.
Now you've moved up. Did you
Aha.
stay in?
Aha. Aha.
Yeah.
Aha.
You're moving a little bit up with the joining, so you want to stay there. So again, aha, aha, aha.
Aha. Aha. Aha. Aha.
That's
Aha.
yeah, aha. Keep the sound going. Aha.
Aha.
That's a little bit better. You need to come a little bit lower. Aha.
Aha. Aha.
It's right towards the end. You're relying solely on your breath and going aha. I might be over exaggerating it. Aha. Aha.
Aha.
At the beginning, when you first join, you're okay. It's after that you move.
Okay.
Aha.
Aha.
I want you to keep practicing this, inshallah. Yeah, just keep practicing, inshallah. Because I do want to just make sure that we get this practiced.
It's the Hamza and
but we will work it. The only other thing I want you to think about also is your ra. The ra in yarzuqukum. Just try to make sure when you get here, maybe if you want to, it's better if you just recite this slowly. It just gives you that time to move and think about the letter that's coming next. Okay. أَمَّنْ هَذَا الَّذِي يَرْزُقُكُمْ إِنْ أَمْسَكَ رِزْقَهُ.
أَمَّنْ هَذَا الَّذِي يَرْزُقُكُمْ إِنْ أَمْسَكَ رِزْقَهُ.
Mashallah, well done.
Forget
The ra was
about.
fixed. It's just the ha at the end. It's just the ha at the end. We'll need to give you a bit of time,
Inshallah, it'll
inshallah.
come.
Yeah, inshallah. Yes, it will. It will, definitely. It will if you just keep trying. Okay, we put the effort and then Allah does the rest. Sometimes some things come to you very quickly. Some things take time. And sometimes maybe Allah wants to see your effort so that He can reward you more. So you just keep going. Allah knows when it's best and He will give it to you when it's best for you. Okay, may Allah give it to you and facilitate it for you. Okay, and then Barakallah Feek. And Papa Juksana, if you can recite the next part, please. بَلَّجُّوا فِي عُتُوٍّ وَنُفُورٍ.
بَلَّجُّوا فِي عُتُوٍّ وَنُفُورٍ.
Okay, so because we have two dhammas here and two dhammas here, just the first one of each one, Papaji, making sure the first one is u as well. Okay. بَلَّجُّوا فِي عُتُوٍّ وَنُفُورٍ.
بَلَّجُّوا فِي عُتُوٍّ وَنُفُورٍ.
That wasn't too bad. The ain was a little bit still. So what I want you to do, Papaji, is slow down and finish and hear yourself say the u. Don't try to go into the ta too early. عُتُوٍّ wa.
عُتُوٍّ و.
Try again. عُتُوٍّ wa.
عُتُوٍّ و.
Yeah, let's try the whole thing. بَلَّجُّوا فِي عُتُوٍّ وَنُفُورٍ.
بَلَّجُّوا في عُتُوٍّ وَنُفُورٍ.
Okay, so the only thing about the ain, Papaji, is you're focusing a lot on what's going on with your throat, and you've got the makhraj right. The makhraj is good, right? So you're in the right place in terms of where your throat is squeezing. And what's happening is you're focusing so much on that you're not thinking about the dhamma, the oo sound. So remember, after you squeeze, I want the oo coming from the circling of the lips. Oo, oo. Again? Yes, and remember at the end, you don't need to keep it squeezed for the whole time.
Okay.
Just squeeze at the beginning and then relax and just think about the oo. Oo, oo.
Yes.
Again? That's better. That's better. بَلَّجُّوا فِي عُتُوٍّ وَنُفُورٍ.
بَلَّجُّوا فِي عُتُوٍّ وَنُفُورٍ.
Jazakumullahu khairan. We will stop there, inshallah. Take care. Allah bless you all and give you all recitation that Allah is pleased with and allow you to be able to recite as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to recite as well. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.